Hi, this is Skip.
Hi, this is Mari.
And you're watching Arts Alive Delaware. Well, the Grand has a very important role in the arts community as one of the major presenter of live performances in the state. But it's even broader than that. We do approximately 250 events a year, 162 shows. Over 120,000 people come through our 3 venues. So it has a tremendous impact on the quality of life from a musical perspective and from an entertainment perspective. But it's even greater than that, because we also have a very active community engagement and education program. Last year, for example, in our Stages of Discovery, we put over 15,000 kids through our Stages of Discovery programs, many of them from Title I schools. Some of these kids are the first time they've seen a live performance. One of the proudest things that I think about as executive director is when I walk up King Street and see the 15 school buses out on King Street and the kids coming into our performances. It's very impactful, and there are future audiences and hopefully our future performers. So that's a very impactful thing that we do. In addition, because of all our performances and the 100,000 people come through our venues, it's an economic driver for the state and the city. For every dollar that's spent in our shows, 60 cents is spent in the community. So it has a tremendous economic impact on the city, the county, and the state. Well, as most people know, we do operate 3 venues: the Grand, the Baby Grand, and the Playhouse on Rodney Square. When you come into the Grand, you'll see a wonderful theater that was first built in 1871, refurbished in the 1970s, and it's a beautiful venue. I always tell people when they first come to the Grand and when they get to Copeland Hall, the first thing they should do is look around and look at the ceiling, because it's an amazing building and it's a piece of art. And so they'll notice what a beautiful theater is. This is also true at the Playhouse. Beautiful theater built in 1903, rehabbed 3 years ago, wonderful venue. And so you'll notice that at first. When you sit down in Copeland Hall, you'll also notice the acoustics. It has one of the best acoustics of any theater on the East Coast. A number of years ago, Tony Bennett was here. He had his whole entire orchestra. And in the middle of performance, he stopped. And he said, I want to play the next song with just me and my piano player, because the acoustics here are perfect. At the Grand, it's mostly music and variety. They'll see a plethora of different types of talent, whether they're comedy or music. Our music is very diverse in terms of the type of performances we perform. We try to match on various audiences. Recently, in the last number of years, we focused on diversity programming as well. The Playhouse is primarily Broadway, although we do put some music and variety up there. And there you'll see touring Broadway shows. This year we'll have five shows, but very different audience for the most part. Very exciting Broadway shows, and they range from dramatic performances to musicals. In the Baby Grand, you'll see smaller acts, more intimate acts, again, but a very diverse group of acts. We use that theater for up-and-coming performances. We use that for our diversity programming as well. No matter what venue you go to, you'll see a very, very diverse group of performances, both music and variety and in Broadway. We host 4 resident companies here, the Delaware Symphony Orchestra, First State Ballet, Opera Delaware, and the Rock Orchestra. So we have a close relationship with all 4 of those organizations, probably closer now than we ever had before. We're not only their home where they perform, we help them in a myriad of different ways. For example, this coming year, we will be working with them as part of our Stages of Discovery with the Delaware Symphony Orchestra, and that's a relatively new initiative.
Starting at the Grand, one thing I noticed was the intentionality on appealing to, again, the entire community at large. So I think the sensory-friendly family programming specifically really is intentional in addressing the neurodiverse community and their loved ones. So it's a space that allows them to attend, theater without the typical barriers like sound volume and like having to remain in your seat. You can stand up, move around, take breaks in our quiet areas. I feel like it's very intentional in catering to the needs of all of our patrons. There's definitely a very rich, I would say, pool of partners that the grant has, and it's just wonderful to be able to work with them, many on a recurring annual basis. Or whether it, like Skip said, it's diverse in that they offer ballet, some are offering comedy, again, theater. There's just a very rich, again, sense of community and partnership here at the Grant. So it's a great thing to be able to navigate.
The audience varies significantly, and that's what we want to see, because we want to be able to have programming that attracts a wide range of audience from every part of both demographically, both from a geography point of view, and from a music taste perspective as well. But it starts at the Grand with a performance. It's usually an upbeat performance. We've had groups like the Commodores, and this year we're having Kool and the Gang, and the artists we look for, we want it to be an up-tempo to get ready for the party. It's a shortened show, only lasts about 60 minutes. The other key component of the gala is that we honor someone in the community who has made a significant contribution to the arts. Past honorees have been people like Mr. and Mrs. Copeland, Ray Avery, Chip Rossi, and the Gilliam family. And this year we'll be honoring Mike Przicki, the outgoing mayor of Wilmington, who's contributed a lot to the arts. We have something called the Grand Medal that we present. And then we have the show, and then we go up to the party at the hotel. But the most important thing about the gala is it benefits our community engagement and education program. And it's our major fundraiser of the year. And so we try to remind people they're there for two reasons. They're there to have a great time, in a great party, and one of the best social events of the year, but they're also here at the event to help support our community engagement and educational programs.
So one of our newest programs that launched last season was our Paint, Sip, and Stroll series, which highlights local artists as well as artists in past history. So we're creating that educational tie-in, but also engaging our local artists and supporting them. So we invite the community in at what we think is an accessible rate of $15. And for that evening, they get a tour of the Grand. They have a paint experience for 2 hours. And the social piece that Skip mentioned earlier, the discussions that we found take place during those events, is something that is just, it's amazing. It's a wonderful thing to experience. And then our internship program, which we hope to be launching early next spring, is something that we hope provides a area of access, but also a way for high school junior and seniors to explore careers in the arts. So we're excited about those two initiatives specifically. The arts, I think, really at a young age helped me find my voice. I think it started in elementary school with that first vocal solo that I had, and just really given me the confidence boost that I would say I probably needed and kind of carried with me throughout my life up until this point. It gives me a space to be creative and also give back to the community, which is, a big portion of my life, I would say. Mm-hmm.
It increases the quality of life, and it helps attract people to the community, whether it's the performing arts or the museums or whatever. So I think that's really important. And the other reason that's important to support the arts is that from an educational point of view, it broadens people's perspective, particularly young people. Because a lot of times today, arts have been taken out of the school curriculum, and it's hard to find them. And so we can help, the various arts organizations can help provide that. And the third reason we talked about earlier is that they are economic drivers. It's hard to imagine the city of Wilmington prospering with plywood on the windows of the Grand and the Playhouse or the Queen or whatever, because they're very, very important to the economic vitality of the city, state, and region. So I guess I would capsulize it by saying 2 reasons: quality of life, 3 reasons: quality of life, education, and economic vitality.
Well, I would say supporting the arts in Delaware specifically, I think it creates opportunity. I think that's the first thing that comes to my mind, specifically because the arts is for everyone, whether it's, young students that, attend our Cities of Discovery shows, or, local artists that may have started a career in another field but are pursuing the arts now as one of their passions. I feel like the arts supports the holistic version of a being, of a person. It allows us to express ourselves basically in a way that we might not get to do in our normal day-to-day life. So I think supporting the arts really supports the community just in general.
You can support the Grand by buying tickets, contributing to the Grand, which supports the Playhouse, the Grand, and the Baby Grand. And also we have volunteer opportunities to work at the Grand as well.